culture is actually
The goddamn run the
There's a man down.
calling both games.
This video is brought to you by Established Titles.
How thine lords will Lord tree first of his name, son of the pig willow, and do I really have to say this?
Say it!
And slayer of the pussy.
I dubbed that nickname for myself on a summer's night. I was coming home from a night of drinking only to run over a cat with my car. It's a burden I will have to carry for the rest of my life. But enough about me. Traditional Scottish customs have decreed that landowners be called lords, ladies, or lairds. With Established Titles, you can earn this right for yourself, while helping environmental efforts as well. They offer packages of at least 1 square foot of pristine land on a private estate in Scotland, which will ensure your greatness. Now return to Slaughtered Peasants in the Royalty Channel.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. The hell am I cracked?
With each purchase, you'll get a commemorative plaque and official certification of your lordship. It's blessed with a unique plot number to signify your claim, and ensures a tree will be planted around the world with every order, thanks to partnerships with One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future. If you have those in your life that desire this kind of title, it makes for a great last-minute gift. Who wouldn't want to use the title Lord or Lady on a credit card or dating profile?
Do you know who I am? I am Lord Tree, first of his name, son of the pig willow. I demand my 3-6 immediately. Yes, I'll hold.
Established Titles is running a massive Black Friday sale right now, and using the promo code TREE in the link below can save you an extra 10% off your purchase. The first 200 people that use my code will effectively be next to me on the plot, and we will feast like gods in our kingdom. Gods, I tell you! Gods!
Yes, I'll go get my credit card. God, this stupid phone needs to be executed.
There was a time where I thought the Falcons had the best chance of winning the NFC South. We do not speak of such traumas. To describe this hell that God has forsaken, it's a lot like the weather. Miserable, bleak, and a relentless downpour of suck. It's an equalizer that even Carolina can pounce on. One where the running game is emphasized thanks to the elements. One where the underrated Deontay Foreman thrives in gashing his opponents. They needed to make sure the game didn't rely on Eddie Piñeiro's leg to win. Fortunately, the Panthers didn't. In an alternate universe, the Falcons wouldn't have pissed away opportunities and would currently be a 9-1 team. In this timeline, they would not drop every potential pick that comes their way. Blame the weather all you want, but it's a brutal loss for a team that was eager to surprise. The only surprise is how Atlanta keeps finding ways to lose. How do you make Carolina look dominant? Willkommen auf zu Deutschland. In München findet ein tolles Spiel zwischen den Seattle Seahawks und den Tampa Bay Buccaneers statt. Ja, ich habe Google Translate genutzt. Mein Deutsch ist scheiß. Okay, that's enough cringe for the poor Germans that are watching this vid. God bless them, for they came out in droves and proved to the NFL that they should have had games here long before this. What they saw was what we expected this game to be back in August. Seattle's offense stuck in quicksand thanks to a relentless Bucs defense. Tom Brady magically getting receivers that can catch and not having to throw a bajillion times in a game. With being able to escape through the raindrops, Tampa Bay gets back to 500 and resecures the division from hell. Brady is a master of conquest. Napoleon sits in exile envious of his annexation of the world. Germany even got their comedy in being forced to experience Byron Leftwich devise trick plays. All in all, a successful day for Deutschland. Come back here more often, NFL. Finally have some damn predictability in this league. I'm going to take this obvious result and run with it like Jeff Wilson did. One side features a white-hot defensive unit featuring Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Waddle. The other has Joe Woods running the defense. When you combine these two elements, you get an unstoppable unit running through a fortification of twigs and leaves. It felt like the Harlem Globetrotters against the Generals. An obvious jobber there to make the other guys look good and get a few bucks in the process. Miami accrued almost 500 yards of total offense. It doesn't matter what Cleveland did, the Dolphins were just going to ram everything down their throat. Since they've gotten Tua back, they're riding a 4-game win streak and they've reclaimed possession of the AFC East. This is the potential they flashed on multiple occasions. If this keeps up, who the hell stops them? Besides themselves, of course. This would have been a great matchup to watch a few years ago. We even got to experience it back at the Superdome in 2018. Now, though, we get their hollowed shells. Pittsburgh's at least getting TJ Watt back, but the Saints have no help coming. Their offense would be as rudderless as life without Sean Payton is. No traction for the running game, Andy Dalton firing blanks all day, being unable to do a damn thing whatsoever against Steeler might. The Pigeons lounging on the field had more life than the Saints. Their defense needs hazard pay. They put up that effort only to lose to a Mac Canada offense? That's embarrassing all its own. And there's nothing New Orleans can do to stop the bleeding. Thus results in an ugly-ass game that the Steelers have embraced winning. Mike Tomlin has now won against every team excluding the one he's coached. Philly can thank Pittsburgh for their win later. It only makes their extra first stronger. Nathaniel Hackett and Todd Downing walk into a bar. That's the only thing they can do. Going further with this comment is impossible with the offenses they run. Whether it's Tennessee trying to make Ryan Tannehill the focal point of the offense or the Broncos riding to their doom, it's horrifying to watch. At least the Titans managed to have a couple of plays where they didn't look like shit offensively. What about Denver? Let me get this straight. You have a week to refresh yourselves and you still can't do a damn thing with a franchise QB you threw hundreds of millions of dollars at? The Titans didn't even have anything close to resembling a healthy defense. Yet Denver rode all the way to 56 yards of offense for most of the second half. It's so bad I'm not surprised Colorado legalized psychedelic drugs. You needed to watch this shit. I wouldn't trust Hackett to run a computer. He'd crash it once he hit the power button. The Houston Texans are the tank of tanks. A legendary mammoth that only seeks one outcome: to lose for their next great savior. The sins of the butching continue to haunt them, and the G-men will take advantage of their shittiness. The Giants themselves were sloppy as well. Ridiculously one-dimensional, featuring Kenny Golladay giving less effort than Hainsworth did after he got paid. Okay, it might not be that bad yet. If he had captaincy, they'd strip it like Houston did for Brandon Cooks. The fortunate thing for the Giants is, once again, they're playing the Texans. They lack many critical aspects of being a successful team. Maintaining some semblance of a pulse is all they need to get to 7-2. Glorious tanks roll along in Texas, for their quest for tank bowl greatness is unabated in New York. The Giants are merely playing checkers. Houston's eating the pieces in an attempt not to play. To beat Kansas City, a few things need to happen. They need to take advantage of any opening they have, and the Chiefs need to play a suboptimal game. Unfortunately for Jacksonville, neither really happened. It just goes to show you how far the Jags still have to go before they're anything close to a playoff contender. Duval can huff and puff and ballyhoo all they want, but before long they're down 20-0 before the end of the first half. The game's done by that point. Casey's too methodical and efficient to blow this kind of contest to the likes of Jacksonville. They must suffer through the might of every offensive weapon they have in a grueling loss. Almost 500 yards of it in their sleep. Sorry boys, this is a different Chiefs team. One that can mold themselves into any style they need to win. Try again next time. Hopefully with a more complete roster. And maybe an executive branch that isn't inept. There may be a time where this matchup isn't a guaranteed tank bowl. It was fringe at this point, to be fair. Detroit did end up beating Green Bay by the grace of God. Chicago is Justin Fields. And that's pretty much it. Against the Lions, this should be good enough to win, however. The man is single-handedly carrying the Bears to some form of relevance. And he shifted public perception on his career faster than he evades tacklers in the pocket.
Nope.
Matt Nagy tried his best to ruin him, but like most other things he did as a coach, he failed. The electric field shocked Detroit to secure a 14-point lead in the second half. Things are in cruise control as the Motor City has no answers. Chicago capitalizes with a crucial pick to... Is this hands to the face? These refs need their joysticks recalibrated because they just gifted the Lions a touchdown. Fields would counter, but he decided to take the Kyler Murray comparisons a little too literally, if you get my drift. Tie ball game on a pick six. Chicago then unleashes the gamut of their might. Mostly in Justin Fields running for his damn life and somehow scoring points out of it. It's that fucking rabbit in Super Mario 64, you can't catch him. Don't ask Cairo Santos to help. He's going to shank the extra point wide. Things get eerily quiet in the Windy City, but then someone blinks. It's the Bears. Their defense folds like a deck of cards. The Lions march down the field for a touchdown and stun the world by kicking an extra point through the uprights. It then turns into Justin Fields versus the world. The world crushes him on the first push. The Lions laugh to the bank by winning their first road game in 2 seasons. Really? Almost 2 years? Jesus, that's pathetic. This was something special. Unironically, one of the greatest games in recent memory. It had everything you could ask for. A spectacle for all audiences. It can't be contained in these simple confines. After everything that happened, further testament that this year is going to kill me. Sometimes the best matchups come with an element of surprise. For the Cardinals and Rams, there would be a stipulation. No starting quarterbacks allowed. Both Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford would be out of this game for varying reasons. This would be an epic duel between Colt McCoy and AAF legend John Wolford. Colt McCoy, you could argue, was better than Kyler would have been. He was efficient, clean, and did a solid job in an emergency. John Wolford did not. To be fair, is that really on him, or are the Rams just that much of a mess? I'm going to argue the latter. No team should give Arizona such a convincing victory with all the chaos going on. I know I'll hear the yelling from 13 people about fuck them picks, and that's fine. I'm not the one laughing at you. It's Detroit. They send thanks for a potentially high first rounder. This game became a tank bowl throughout the week. Indy chucking Jeff Saturday out there to be a yes man for Jim Irsay. Ordered to his death by starting Matt Ryan? Wait, I thought they killed him off. Irsay was the one that forced that move to begin with. And now he's going to parade himself as the hero despite being a fool. Be fortunate they're playing a coach that fucked them over in a past life. Remember that Josh McDaniels was supposed to be Indy's coach, before he slithered back to New England after a matter of days. I said at the time that the Colts dodged a bullet. Today we see why. The Raiders are having trouble dispatching one of the biggest shit shows in football. The cackling you're hearing is coming from Colorado. Although that could be from trying to cope with the horrors of Broncos country. Jonathan Taylor promptly escaped from the horrors of his offensive slump with the game rivaling his might in 2021. Las Vegas is only down by 5 in the fourth without Renfrow or Waller, but really? This is the answer to your critics? You're failing against a head coach who was an ESPN analyst last week and an AI-generated offensive play caller named Parks Frazier. In your own house? No wonder why Blake Martinez just said fuck it and retired instead of suffer. Dear God, if the Raiders lose this game, they shouldn't just wallow in shame. They should contract the franchise.
You lost it! Oh my God!
This is new territory for Green Bay. They must win this match. It doesn't matter if it's against a strong opponent in the Cowboys. It doesn't matter if it's against the old coach that held them back for years. The Packers need this victory if they want to maintain a chance at the postseason. Throughout the game, it's not looking good. Dallas is proving the adversary that the Lambeau faithful were fearing. Or at least they would if Dak Prescott could throw to any open receiver besides Rudy Ford. Despite Dak's sloppiness, Green Bay is generous enough to allow them to tie the game just before half. It's here where an old friend reemerges after being told to fuck off. Terrible special teams play. Amari Rodgers has more fumbles this season than he has catches. And they're still having him return punts? No wonder why Dallas is rumbling away with the game. Death was inevitable. Then we remember that Green Bay needed to expose the fraud. It'll be done thanks to Christian Watson having his breakout moment as a receiver. A Mike McCarthy team pissing away a sizable lead at Lambeau? Surely this is a first. At least the Cowboys can be saved with overtime. Or so we think. The genius of Mike McCarthy continually rolls into view. Instead of utilizing the potent rushing attack on a 3rd and short, force a sluggish Dak to chuck it and die. Absolute genius play calling and field goal range. I know Cowboys fans are going to talk about my pass interference, but how does that explain pissing away a 14-point lead? How does that explain your so-called elite defense falling apart? Green Bay does the predictable thing. It's like clockwork.
Kick is up and good! A Green Bay winner!
Mike McCarthy managed to help the Packers win a critical game. There really is a first for everything. The struggle to secure California isn't really a hard one to decipher. In this world, whomever wins has the favor of the masses. The Chargers may be 5-3, but they're a fraudulent 5-3. They're getting lucky in spite of all their injuries and coaching follies. Against San Francisco, those shortcomings would come to roost. LA would try, and they do everything in their power to match a team trying to go all in, but it wouldn't be enough. The Bolts just don't have enough power to counter. Their Bay Area adversary is just too strong. Props for trying, at least. Justin Herbert was literally knocked out cold on the field of play, and he still kept fighting. I just wish they wouldn't turn him into a hollow shell of himself. Checkdowns and curl routes ahoy. What an offense Lombardi devises. San Fran had trouble cracking the Charger defense for a bit, but they did enough to win in the end. Jimmy G just has to stand there looking pretty while the rest of the team does the work. Or watch as the Chargers fail to convert a 4th and 3 at their own 8-yard line. They had all 3 timeouts, but to be fair, their defense is shit. They were losing anyway. Many a hater have claimed the Eagles to be fraudulent. Their schedule is paper soft. They've had no real test to prove themselves thus far. The hater waits for their downfall to an opponent they should crush and celebrate the occasion. In this game, they may have had a point. Credit the commies for concocting a solid offensive strategy. The art form of hold on to the damn ball for as long as humanly possible. They had possession for over 2/3 of the game, and the Eagles defense just couldn't make a damn stop when they needed to. It's hilarious. This is a team that's being investigated by DC's Attorney General, and team lawyers threw Brian Robinson in their statement in the ultimate whataboutism. The Eagles can't punish this faux pas, as A.J. Brown had the ball ripped out of his hands. Philly is unforgiving to failure, and they boo their team as they fall behind at half. Immediately falling a half to go down by 2 scores, even worse in their eyes. There are reputations to maintain, damn it! Look at this touchdown drive and see the Eagles' potential for yourself. Washington doesn't have to counter in kind. They'll gladly throw an interception to give Philly a chance to lead. Begin the great conspiracy of Philadelphia. This critical fumble should have never been called. Zebras missed a blatant face mask on Goddard on the play. Fortunately, the defense stiffens up and only allows a field goal, but it still stings. Take 2 on the comeback drive.
He's done it twice in the NFL. This one a shot. Watkins a diving catch. Ball comes out.
Jesus, man, just lie down and fight another day. No need to play hero ball when you're playing Washington. With Philly about to get the ball back, this can't get any more embarrassing for them, right?
They're going to throw on 3rd down and 7. Instead, Heineke wisely, and now a flag! Wow. And that's going to, in essence, end the game.
An undefeated season in the balance, and you're going to end the game like that. Right call or not, if I'm those officials, I'd hire extra security detail to escape Philly. There's a good chance the majority of the city now wants your heads lined by the Rocky statue. You know what else I'm hearing? The 72 Dolphins live on for another year. 50 years of lordship over a populace that doesn't care. Pretty impressive, I'd say. Football is a brutal game. May the bell toll for the fallen.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost.
Thus concludes another week of this sermon on the field. Amen.
You know, I'm sorry.
Derek,
You know,
sorry, continue.
to finish that, sorry for being emotional. I'm just pissed off about some of the things, you know, that a lot of us try and do just to practice what we put our bodies through just to sleep at night. And for that to be the result of all that effort pisses me off.